And welcome everybody to the UFC 225 pay-per-view preview podcast brought to you by thesportsdegens.com. Tonight, I am joined by a special guest. You've heard him on the podcast before. You can hear his sultry tones on the MMA analysis. You can find him on Twitter at TrueUKFan. Wesley Colvin, how you doing, my man?
Man, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good, Bubs. Good to be back on here with you, man. Talk a few fights. See, we're missing our boy Texas Chris. Maybe he'll jump in a little later. But yeah, man, very, very good card. We need it. It's been kind of shitty in the UFC land of MMA lately. So yeah, looking forward to this card, man.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure we got this in. We've all been busy lately, and there's so many fight cards and everything. I think we missed the last couple of pay-per-views, but this card's loaded. We can't miss this one. But before we get into the fight cards, there's a couple, we're not going to recap everything that's been going on. Because like I said, it's been a while. One thing I just want to ask you is they're talking about changing the weight cut now to the afternoon, the night before the fight instead of the morning. They're thinking that's going to help, but then there's a lot of people saying not a good idea. As a person that really pays attention to the sport like you do, what's your thoughts on the proper weight cut method, or is this going to help the problem? What do you think is the deal with this?
Well, I never liked how they went to the morning weigh-ins to begin with. I got what they was trying to do. They was trying to give guys more time to rehydrate. But see, what they ended up doing in the process was it's hard for a guy to get up in the morning, go hit the sauna, and take off that little bit of extra weight by 9 a.m. You know what I'm saying? That's just not what guys have done their entire lives. There's been a lot of talk on social media and stuff this past week about weight cutting and stuff, and you got your guys that wrestled and stuff, like our boy Lance Fishel wrestled, and a lot of guys on Twitter, they wrestled in high school and stuff, and they don't see any problem with any kind of weight cutting. Which I mean, I agree to an extent, but so to say guys cutting 20, 30 pounds and stuff 2 or 3 times a year, that's not messing with guys, long-term health, that's just crazy. You ask any doctor, they'll tell you the same. But back to just the morning weigh-ins. I mean, it's been proven we've never had missed weights like we've had in the past 2 years since they went to that. And I get that a lot of it does have to do with being professional. I think there is guys that are very professional and they stay in shape year round. They stay on weight, they stay ready, and that doesn't bother them. But not everybody is a professional like that. And I mean, if you don't want a bunch of fights canceled all the time, you're going to have to switch it back. I even said it when they did it, I thought this was going to be the problem. I get why they was doing it, the extra however many hours, 8 hours of rehydrating. But man, guys were saying it when they was talking about it. They're just not used to getting up in the morning like that. Most guys the day of weigh-ins would cut fucking 7-8 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Can't do that no more, And then you have problems just like these wacky things where they go to places and there's no sauna in the hotel. You know what I'm saying? So guys are already coming in to where they're cutting it even closer now for a morning weigh-in. Run to crazy problems like that, no Epsom salt or no sauna here, and you're going to have fights canceled. And it's happened. We've had those crazy things happen. Those exact examples happen over the past 2 years and gotten fights canceled. I think guys cutting weight is just it's not great anyway because they do it to crazy extremes. They're going back will save fights. I think that is it safer? I don't think any of it's very safe how they do it. I think there should be percentages on it because they've talked about putting in more weight classes. Guys are still going to cut. You can put in as many weight classes as you want. Guys are still going to cut as much weight as they can and get to the lowest weight class. They had some stuff out in California out your way not too long ago to where you got year round. You have to stay in a certain percentage, and you can only cut a certain percentage and fight in that weight class. They're going to eventually have to go to that. I mean, if you watch the Darren Till video came out. That guy was going blind. He couldn't see and stuff.
That is not.
It ain't about being tough.
Yeah.
Like this ain't about being tough. These guys are cage fighters. We know they're tough. You know what I'm saying? It's like I hate these keyboard warriors that are like, well, man up, make the weight, man. Do you just see that video? The guy is manning up. He's trying to make that fucking weight. You're gonna have to force the fighter from hurting himself. You're gonna have to do it, and you can't rely on all the people around him either, because all the people around him have all their interior motives themselves. They want that guy to be champ at any cost necessary. Even their own families, at times, their own fathers will push them to that limit. People's going to have to step in with clear heads, and they're going to have to put some rules in place. I don't think it happens till somebody dies, and somebody's going to end up dying. It's going to happen. Somebody's organs are going to shut down. I mean, they just had Beck Rollins was doing an interview last week for Bare Knuckle Boxing, said she developed a thyroid problem from weight cutting. Like, her life has changed forever. I just hate the fans out there is like, oh, well, that's part of sport. Deal with it. Live with it. Like, why do we got to do that? Can't we meet somewhere in the middle, you know?
Oh, yeah. Well, you're watching Tough, and you saw McGregor's boy. He wasn't even cutting a ton of weight, and his whole body shut down. Like, yeah, it wasn't even close to the Till situation or any of these other ones, but they're doing so much to their bodies, like you're saying, and I think what you're talking about the percentages and the year-round, that has to be the way they're going to do it, because we've seen these guys. I remember when McGregor was first cutting weight, he looked like a zombie. We've seen the pictures of CM Punk and all these other guys. Like, it's bad the way some of these guys cut weights. Now, some, they do it right, and there's not an issue. There's others, man, holy crap, it's bad, real bad.
Yeah, it's when you get to these levels too, man, it's like any advantage. I just don't know if it's worth it sometimes. You know, what's that extra size worth sometimes when you're just going to be so depleted? Something's going to have to change, but unfortunately, I really don't think it's going to happen until somebody dies. I mean, you see how a large part of the fan base looks at this as about being tough and being professional is how they look at it. When that's not it. When you're talking about guys trying to cut 30 pounds of weight, you know what I'm saying? To get a slight advantage in a fight, it's not worth it, man. And you're never gonna. Some of these fans, man, are just. It's incredible. You see how some of them were sending messages to Ray Borg and shit, you know. And I even made a joke about Ray Borg and the bus shit, him getting glass in his eye. But like, then you find out his kid's sick and stuff. And you had MMA fans might be the worst fan base in all of sports. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen to shit an MMA fan says.
Yeah, most of them can't even take a punch, but they can sit behind their phone or their keyboard and talk all the trash in the world to these guys.
And call Darren Till a pussy. Tell Darren Till to man up and make the weight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was amazing. That video, if people haven't seen that video, go check it out. It is insane what he went through. Just like so wrong. And it shows everything that's wrong with this weight cut program.
So another story about the Darren Till weight cut. So they even tried to give him an enema at one point, and to get even more liquid weight off of him. Jesus. And the lubricant that they used on the enema, his asshole actually started sucking up the lubricant because he was so dehydrated. That's the extent. That should not ever be allowed in any kind of sport. That's insane, man. That is absolute. But don't sit there and call Darren Till any man up or be, you know, that's ridiculous. That's the kind of shit he went through to try to make weight for a fight, you know.
Yeah, that's wild. Well, let's get into this UFC 225 pay-per-view, and hopefully we don't get too many issues. We have 13 fights on tap. And knock on wood, right now, we're all looking good. They had their little media day today. Things looked good. We're going to run through these. On the Fight Pass prelims, we have 4 fights, 6:15 Eastern, 3:15 Pacific. Led off in the featherweight division, Mike the Little Bully Santiago versus Dan Dynamite Ige. And Ige is about a minus 150 favorite or so. What do you got on this one, Wes?
Yeah, this is, you know, I think this is kind of maybe one of the lowest level fights on this entire card. To kick it off, we got a really bad one later, but we'll get into that. Yeah, man. This is just a fight, man, that you probably just sit back and watch to start the night off. Mike Santiago looked pretty good coming off of Dana White Contender Series, and then man, they threw him Zabit for some reason. I have no idea why they did that to him. Tough out. Lost last time to Burnell. I like Edge here. That loss to Arce last time out, it doesn't look as bad after seeing Arce a couple of weeks ago. I think that kid's got a lot of talent. So yeah, Edge would be the pick here, but you don't put any money on this fight. Just sit back. There's too many opportunities on this card to be having money on this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of good fights here, and the next one is one I'm actually really looking forward to. At one point, it seemed like Clay, the Carpenter Guida, was done and just curtains, and then he's come back looking like a beast, and they'll be taking on Charles Dubronc Oliveira, so two just veterans in their sport. Oliveira minus 150 favorite. This has the makings of a pretty damn good fight. What do you got here, Wes?
Yeah, man. I mean, the dude Dobronx, Chucky Olives, love him or hate him. People love him, people hate him. He's always in an exciting fight. This dude is take your neck with him, or he goes, or he's going out on his shield. Man, Clay's a tough out, man. But something's telling me Oliveira's gonna catch him with one here. You always play Oliveira by sub, and just hope for some crazy shit to happen. That's kind of how I'm leaning here.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how I see this fight. We know how Clay works. If Clay can smother Oliveira, he'll do his thing. But then if he smothers him too much, you mentioned Oliveira's got that sub game that's just ridiculous. So
Clay's been subbed 8 times by choke in his career.
Yeah, he leaves himself wide open, and he can't stand up.
Oliveira has the best front. Sorry, Bubs. Oliveira has the best front choke this sport might have ever seen. So, you know, Clay's gotten caught in like 8 of those in his career. There's a pretty good chance Chucky's going to get one here.
Yeah, it's got the makings for a good fight to really kick off this loaded card. Let's get on to the next fight on these Fight Pass prelims, and this is how loaded the card is. We head to the feather or flyweight division. We got the number 1 Joseph Benavidez. You know, he's been battling injuries. He's coming back, taking on number 5 Sergio Pettis. This has the makings of another kind of wow fight. And Benavidez is about a minus 250 favorite. Heavy favorite on Pettis. But I don't know. What do you think on this one, Wes?
Yeah. The only thing that gives me pause in this fight is the injury and the layoff for Joe B. I think at this point, Little Pettis is the better Pettis now, but Little Pettis still can't wrestle for shit, just like his big brother. If Benavidez wants us to the mat, this goes to the mat. Pettis ain't taking Benavidez down. I think Pettis is a very well-rounded striker. He's really good, but Joseph Benavidez has top of the food chain level boxing, and I think if this stands up, Joe B boxes him up. If Joe B wants us to the mat, this goes to the mat whenever he wants it to. But like I said, man, he's coming off an ACL. He's coming off over a year layoff. But I just have a feeling that this is a fight we look back and say, my God, we got Joseph Benavidez minus 250 against Baby Pettis. That's just my feeling at this point. I have Joe B in a small parlay. If he wasn't coming off that injury layoff, I think he'd be more closer to minus 400 in this fight.
Yeah, and you nailed it. That's exactly what I was thinking. If he wasn't coming off that injury, and you never know, maybe there's a lot to worry about that injury. We don't know, but you'd imagine he's back to normal. He's passed all the physicals, and he can just the way he wrestles. You've seen it obviously, and others have. It is just he controls you. He smothers you. You're not moving. He's going to put you in a pretzel if he wants to put you in a pretzel. He's going to do whatever the hell he wants it to. And you're right, minus 250 could be a gift. In the game of MMA,
Pettis can't wrestle.
No, he can't.
That's just it's been their problems for years and years and years. They can't wrestle.
His gym can't wrestle. That's just how most of them.
It's all. And what's crazy is they have probably the best MMA wrestler ever in that gym, in Ben Askren, and none of them can wrestle. It's insane.
It's wild. Let's head to the light heavyweight division. a fight that I forgot was on this card until this morning, and I wish it wasn't on this card. I thought Rashad Evans should have retired last time, and he got a gift, and I figured, okay, go right off into the sunset, old man. No, he goes up in weight class, back to one of his original weight classes, to face Anthony Lionheart Smith, who's about a minus 310 favorite. Tell me why Evans is even doing this.
Look, I really have no idea, man. I mean, Rashad's really got nothing else to prove. I mean, he won a belt. He just ended up fighting in an era of the all-time greatest in John Jones. Just the weight switch never worked for him, man. Then injuries hit him. He's done, man. I don't even know why he's still doing it. He's got the desk job. This is a really bad fight for him. Anthony Smith is no world beater. I don't even rate him very, very high, but he's a tough son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rashad is not gonna – I just can't see Rashad catching him with something. And Anthony Smith is going to be on him like a damn wet blanket, dude. Rashad has zero gas tank anymore. He's washed. It's really, really sad, man. I wouldn't lay minus 300 on Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith inside the distance, though, I believe was plus money earlier today. I'm not sure. But I think he finishes Rashad in this fight.
Smith inside the distance is plus 105.
Yeah, I think he finishes Rashad in this fight. So if you want some action on this fight, Smith inside the distance.
Just remember, Rashad Evans people lost to Dan Kelly and his 2 knee braces. So just remember that. That actually happened. Let's go to the FS1 prelims, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Heavyweight fight, Rashad Daywalker Coulter versus Chris De La Rocha. Coulter's about a minus 130, minus 140 favorite. 2 potential fatties going to fatty Wes?
Yeah, this has to. I don't know how this fight here is above 2 of the top 5 or 6. Flyweight that Guida and Chucky Hollis fight. This is just insane. These are 2 bums. I don't know if you want to sprinkle. Hopefully they get sloppy and fatty, but. My pick is Coulter just because he's just a slight bit younger guy at 36, taking a little bit less damage. But, man, stay as far away from this fight as you can.
Yeah, definitely a go grab a beer, take a shit, whatever you want to do, fight.
Yep.
But get ready for the next one because fireworks are going to pop off. Oh, boy. Todd Bektic, number 11 featherweight in the division. It's a minus 250 favorite against the number 7 featherweight, Ricardo the Bully Lamas. This fight – on paper, Bektic should do his thing, but Lamas is no pushover whatsoever. So what's your take on this one, Wes?
Yeah, Bektic has had the hype for years now. He ran into Darren Elkins. Man, that loss isn't looking as bad now because Darren Elkins is on like a 6-fight win streak against some of the better guys, which is insane. Like, it's crazy to say in 2018 that Darren Elkins is probably 1 win away from a title shot. He really should be. He should be. Yeah. But I think this is the fight to where if we see Bektic is going to take that next step because Ricardo Lamas is a very, very tough out. The only thing is Lamas is coming off that first round blistering KO from Emmett, laid him out clean. I don't think Lamas has ever been knocked out like that in his entire career. He has taken like 6-7 months off, so that's good to see. I got to side with Bektic in this fight. I just think he's the younger guy coming up, and it's hard to pick a guy coming off a devastating first-round KO like that. You rarely want to pick a guy like that, or much less even have any kind of money on him until you see one off him get back in the cage for a fight. So, yeah, the pick here is going to be Bektic, and I'll probably put him in something small, man. I think he gets it done here and moves up the ladder and shows everybody his skills, man. Because I think he's really, really good.
Yeah, I think Bektic and a Benny little parlay could be interesting. Let's see what those 2 do. But, yeah, I think he's definitely the better fighter, like you said. Lamas with that KO could definitely – we've seen that story a few times where it's just over after that. But be curious to see how it pans out. Let's take a look at a women's strawweight fight. Apparently no love lost between these two. Claudia Gadelha versus Carlo Esparza. When you have the nickname Cookie Monster, you better be able to bring it. So what do you got in Lance Fishel's favorite fight of the night?
Man, I tell you what, I hate to pick a huge fave, but this is a major mismatch, man. This is major. Like, look, Claudia is right there, man. She had some tough losses to to JJ and Andrade, but those are the two best, you know. Or sorry, it's Andrade and JJ. Over Kowalowicz, which is good. I just think those are your top of the food chain, and below them, there's a very, very big gap. I mean, I just think it falls way off. I just don't think I don't see what path that Carla has here. Her whole thing is wrestling. She's not going to wrestle Claudia. She's going to get tossed around by Claudia, and the stand up just isn't even close. So I think this is a mauling. Of course, you can't lay minus 500 here, but what I do really like is I think Claudia gets a finish here, and Claudia inside the distance is plus 270, and I think she mauls her. I think that line is really off to get a plus 270 inside the distance on a minus 500 favorite. Is the numbers actually seem a little off, so I took it a little that. And if you're into any kind of parlays, I think that Claudia points handicap minus 240 is a great parlay piece on this card. You can't lay minus 500, but those are two props that I really, really love on the fight.
No, that's a good call there because you can't 500, especially in a women's fight where, anything can happen. And you mentioned with Gadelha, she is a monster and definitely up there in that group of the big fighters in that weight class.
I think it's the biggest mismatch on the card, honestly. I really do. I think this is going to be ugly. I think Claudia, coming off that loss to, she had something to prove.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I like the way you mentioned it when you got Gadelha is minus 500, but then inside the distance is plus 2 something. That is a definite misline situation there. So something to keep an eye on. Let's go to the heavyweight division, the fight that got knocked off the pay-per-view for one CM Punk. We got in the heavyweight division, the number 2, Alistair Overeem versus Curtis Blades. Blades has been a guy in this podcast, and I know that the analysis has been all over. And now he goes up against Overeem, who was so close to getting one of those title shots. And Blades is a minus 175 favorite on the veteran Overeem. What are you seeing in this one?
Yeah, I hate to keep coming back to faves. And I've seen some people on Overeem here, and I get it. Man, Overeem at 38, off the juice, coming off one of the most vicious uppercut knockouts I've ever seen. How do you lay your money on a guy that just got viciously knocked out in his last fight? That's kind of crazy to me. I think Blades is the real in this division. In a division full of old, sloppy, just guys on their way out, he's one of the young, up-and-coming dudes. We seen him stand 3 with Hunt last time and take some shots. You don't like seeing guys in the heavyweight division get hit like that. I think Blades almost kind of wanted to get hit a little bit in his last fight. I think he wanted 3 rounds in his last fight. And, man, going against Mark Hunt, a guy that slings leather like Mark Hunt and standing with him for 3 rounds, that was a good test for him. Kind of the same similar thing here. Now, he doesn't want to be standing with Overeem as much as he wanted to be standing with Hunt. Like, you don't want to take those kind of shots against Overeem. I think Blades is going to be a little bit smarter in this fight. I got him when he got down to minus 155, man. I'll still say I think Blades and Ngannou, I think those two dudes fight for a title a couple times in their careers. But those are the 2 young up and coming heavyweights that I think will challenge for the title once guys like Stipe are on the way out. There's another guy coming up on the card too that I think is going to be in that mix as well. But this is just the story of a young. We see it over and over in the fight game now. Old guy on the way out, young up and comer on the way up, especially in the heavyweight division. I think Blades even at minus 170 right now is a pretty good line. I love minus 155, but yeah, Blades all day for me here.
Yeah, we got another one coming up, like you mentioned, that's the old versus the new. But this will be interesting because, like you said, Blades, we talked about many times, had that loss to Haganu. and he still held his own, and he was brawling with that boy. And then we saw what Haganu did to Overeem, where he looked like a human Pez dispenser. So it was nasty, and this could be an interesting fight. It's just I agree, Blade should be the pick here. He just hasn't shown that killer instinct the last few fights that scares me. Because Overeem we've seen just hang around, and he'll catch you with his veteran, skill set. Yep. But Blade should be the pick. I completely agree with that. This kid needs to get a little more killer instinct in him because we've been picking him to finish fights, and he's just not doing it. So I'm curious to see and hope he does it as he wraps up the FS1 prelims. Let's go to the pay-per-view card, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, and this is embarrassing that this is a fight on the UFC card. But we have CM Punk, who got his shit pushed in tapped out versus Mickey Gall, facing Mike the Truth Jackson, who should never grace a UFC octagon in his lifetime, but he will because they want CM Punk to get a W. And the crazy part is CM Punk is still about a plus 180 or so underdog. What are your thoughts on this just WWE shit show?
Yeah, man. I've said it from the start of this charade, dude, that this is just an absolute joke. I get that he's going to bring in a little bit more money, but and I mean, after that joke of a fight to begin with, I don't want to give this too much time. These are two guys that shouldn't be fighting, but I'm going to go with the dude that's actually got a tiny bit more cage time than 30 seconds and pick Mike Jackson here, but dollar on this fight. But I mean, I've seen people betting CM Punk and literally their only reasoning is, fuck it, I'm putting somebody on him, he's a dog, because you literally can't have any rational explanation of why you would bet CM Punk in this fight. He's been in a cage for 15 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no rational explanation. So, this is a complete pass for me. I'm going to pick.
Yeah, don't put any money on this fight whatsoever. I actually heard someone say, I want to take CM Punk because he's going to learn so much from his last fight. He's had so much time to train. Duke Rufus knows what he's doing with him. I'm like, didn't we say all that before he lost in 15 seconds? So,
yeah, and I mean, he's older. He's also like in the drug testing policy, which, he didn't look great before, but he looks like a tub of shit now. Like, really, he looks like
he
looks really bad. And then, those one picks they put out of him, dude, he straight looked like a smack kid down on Skid Row, like straight up, dude. But then he's been going through apparently through a lawsuit the past year, and the past few weeks it's been like wrapping all up. So it's been taking up a lot of his time the past month or something. So all those things coming in, man, can't be good, dude. Hometown, all that shit, yeah.
Yeah, just don't bet the fight. If he wins, he wins. Don't try to act like I told you so. Just don't bet this fucking fight. Like, literally, it should not be on any fight card. Neither one of these guys should be on the octagon. So, yeah, just leave it alone. The next fight, you've been hinting at it earlier. I am pumped on this one. We got Andrei Arlovsky, the veteran, the pit bull, who still has a little bite in him. He's number 9 in the heavyweight division. He is a plus 200 dog or so, plus 180 dog, going up against the number 12, Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa. 9-0 with 9 knockouts. We've talked about this guy. He is awesome. Little Mark Hunt. And this guy's a beast. I think this is who you're talking about. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's another one of those guys from that Oceanic area, man, like Robert Whitaker and stuff that are starting to come out of that area. And he's a heavyweight that's not one of those muscle-bound dudes that he's just like, what we call back over in the States, he's just like country strong. You know what I'm saying? Those guys over there just seem like something about their chins too are just insane too, man. Like your guys like Mark Hunt and stuff. But I think this kid could be the real man. His flying knee knockout is one of the best heavyweight knockouts that you'll ever see. And I mean, just getting to this fight, I mean, Arlovsky has won 2 in a row, man, but it was against fucking Albini and then a half a hole in the heart fucking Stefan Struve stroke away from death. I mean, before them, he lost 5 in a row, getting knocked out slick all over the place, man. He's going to get knocked out here. I can't see this going any other way, man. I don't even give him the Arlovsky puncher's chance that I give against Blades in this fight. I just can't can't see him catching Ty with something. I did play him in a parlay and also inside the distance. I think he knocks on Andre out here.
Yeah, this is crazy. He's a minus 220 favorite or so. Wins by TKO minus 170. Inside the distance is where's that one? He's minus 170 also. Like, so literally he can't even get plus money. That just tells you everything you know right about there. There's your story in a nutshell. This Arlovsky, gatekeeper, we appreciate it. But go to Bellator, go fight in the heavyweight. Go try to fight Fedor or something. Go do that. All right. Holly Holmes taking on Megan Anderson in the women's featherweight division. Holmes, a heavy favorite. There's a trend here about that minus 2 to 250 favorite level in a lot of these fights. This is just this fight's not doing it for me. Am I missing something here?
No, man, because there was this whole hype around Megan Anderson against Cyborg. Man, Cyborg would murder her. Like, seriously, Cyborg would just destroy her. I honestly think Holly Holmes' 5-round loss to Cyborg is about as impressive as any of her wins she's ever had. That was actually pretty damn impressive to me. Man, I hate to pick another fave, and it's just been faves have been hitting at just an incredible clip the past 18 months. But I see it again here, man. I just think this is a perfect fight for Holly here, man. This is the perfect girl for her to sit back and just pick up all rounds, man. I think Anderson might have a slight size advantage on her here. I just don't think it's going to be as big as a lot of people think, to where Anderson can muscle up against the cage and make it dirty and stuff like that. And man, Holly's really good at getting off the cage, and her takedown defense is really, really great. So it just, man, I think this is a perfect setup fight for her. A play I really do like is home by decision here, though. I think it's like minus 135. This fight like a pick and pop decision, minus 130. Take a low of that.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, Holmes inside the distance. Well, no, Holmes by decision is what you said. Yeah, you're right, minus 135. So definitely something to look at there. The only time I really remember her finishing anything was against Ronda Rousey. So she'll pick and pop and do her thing. So totally with you there. Okay, we got 2 title fights on the card, 2 5-round fights. We'll start off with the welterweight interim title fight. Number 1, Rafael Dos Anjos going up against Colby Covington. Covington's about a minus 125, minus 130 favorite. There is the typical Colby Covington crap talking going on in this fight, and you probably have a few porn stars in the locker room. Who knows? But what do you got? Dos Anjos, we haven't seen him be that Dos Anjos of old, but we know he can still do it.
Well, first off, let me give my two shits about Colby Covington, and people fall on one side or the other of Colby Covington. I see a lot of wrestling marks that I would get that. First off, I don't think Colby Covington's shtick is a shtick. I think that's Colby.
Who he is.
I think he's just a fucking douchebag. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a straight up douchebag. That's really who he is. He tries way too hard to be that douchebag. You know what I'm saying? Which that just ends it for me right there. When it feels like you are trying that hard to be that much of a dick, you lose me. So I just think he's a dick. Getting to this fight. Look, I went back and watched the Kobe Maya fight, and I know in the moment we all thought that it was just a Maya boxing clinic destruction. It wasn't, but he caught Kobe a lot. You know what I'm saying? And RDA in this fight, like he's going to be like top 3 or something all time in wins. He could be like I believe the 4th 2-division champ in this sport. There's a lot on the line. Be coming up on it's deserved. I think he's that good, man. His takedown defense is pretty damn legit. I think that's Kobe's only chance. I don't think Kobe can get RDA down consistent rounds. And if this is going to turn into a kickboxing match, Kobe's fucked. Yeah. Kobe's absolutely fucked if this turns into a kickboxing match. That's what I think it is. You're giving me plus money on RDA, who's coming up on being one of the all-time greats if he wins this fight. Plus money in a kickboxing match, how I think it's going to go? Abso-fucking-lutely. I don't want to go too big on RDA here because saying all that, don't get me wrong, I think Kobe is very fucking good, man. His wrestling is right there at top of the food chain in that division. Like, it's that good. He is fucking great. And I think Kobe is going to be even a title contender again. I think he'll fight for a belt again. I still think Usman's better. That's another time and place, but I just think he's running into the wrong guy here at the wrong time a little too early. So not going too big. This ain't a Bones DC type bet. But I like RDA quite a bit here. He was our consensus on the analysis tonight. That's our consensus play on our show. So RDA at plus money, give me some of that.
Yeah, you nailed it there. I think it's a steal for a guy of his talent level. Covington at this time in his career is kind of a one-way street where RDA is just such an all-around talented fighter. And you get plus money with a guy like that, you have to take it no matter the result of the fight. That's just the way it's going to work. So I think it's going to be a good one, and I definitely agree with your Usman take. That guy's a monster, and I cannot wait for him to keep moving up that ladder, even though Dana's making it nice and slow. All right, let's look at the main event. Middleweight title fight. You got Robert Whitaker versus Yoel, Soldier of God, Romero. It's a rematch where Romero won the first 2 rounds. Whitaker won the last 3. Got the strap. They're doing it again. You got Whitaker at a minus 220-ish or so favorite. What's your take on the rematch, Wes?
That first fight, first round, I was about counting my YOLO money, man. That leg was going, and, man, I thought it was over. You got some people saying, oh, well, he won on that bum leg. So, like, YOLO, I'm saying that was YOLO's work that made that leg like it. But I'll give Whitaker his props, man. He toughed that fight out, and YOLO started gassing really, really hard, man, late. Now, I don't think he is the best by any stretch of the imagination. But, man, once he got that leg hurt in that fight, he downs, man. He just started going for just way too many takedowns. And him up at all. He was just coming from way. It just wasn't good. It wasn't typical. And Whitaker did a good job, though. Don't get me stopping and staying in that fight, getting it to those late rounds. But, man, that fight was close that time. I think it's going to be – YOLO makes an adjustment or two here or there. He's right in this fight. Then we all know about third round YOLO, where he just pulls shit out of his ass and finishes some of the best fighters that this sport's ever seen with some of the craziest knockouts you've ever seen. That's always on the table. So when saying those things, man, I took little plus 200 on YOLO back to the well, man. I bet the guy almost every time. He's just a freak, man. The guy's he's chance of winning a fight against anybody on this planet. I don't care who they are. At plus 200, I'll take that shot. I put that on top of. I still get. Hopefully, YOLO makes some adjustments and he doesn't gas as hard. But yeah, 2-1 on YOLO here. I'll take that again. I'll take that against almost any man walking this planet.
No, that's exactly the way I look at it. To me, this fight is way closer than this line dictates. We saw the first one when you nailed it right there with everything you said. And it's no disrespect to Whitaker. He's gone through the opponents he's had to go through. You look at a guy like Yomel with
Whitaker's outstanding, man.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. That's why the guy's saying it's no disrespect, but the power that Yoel brings to the table and what he can do, and like he said in that first fight, when the leg got messed up, it just kind of changed the way the fight went. And that happens. That's the fight game. But Yoel is a monster when he can get plus 200 on a guy like that. Again, we talk about it time and time again. You guys talk about it on your show. In this fight game where something can happen at the flick of a finger, you can get odds like that. You got to play with it. And it's all an odds-based system for the most part. So I like that call quite a bit on Yoel Romero. It's one of the few dogs. Him and Dos Anjos, 2 title fights, 2 dogs. Very, very nice. There's
also some, other things where this fight's so close to where, Whitaker's coming off a year layoff. He had a slight elbow injury, had slight elbow surgery. Well, coming off that elbow surgery, he got infections. He got the chicken pox. Like, that's all been in this past year. You know what I'm saying? So, year layoff, all those things happening, a close fight like this, yeah. I mean, you gotta take the guy that's and let's not forget that in all that time, Yolo went out there and knocked out the former champion. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and Rocco. So, I mean, while Whitaker's been sick and laid up, Yolo's knocking out top 3 fighters. It's close though, man. I think Whitaker is like very legit. The guy is very good. He's right, very best. So close fight, but yeah, plus 200 on Yolo, man. You got to take it.
Love it. Well, Wes, I think your top play of the night is Dos Anjos. That's your favorite play. It's the consensus, I'm assuming.
Yes, we love RD on the show. We all like Yolo as well. So you got 3 guys on our show, 2 guys here on this show. So if there's one dog to play, I definitely think it's Yolo. I also think that that Gadelia inside the distance at plus 270. If you want a decent price on this card, I think that's one of your better options. That and Yolo, and then man, RDA at plus money. I can't get over. And I will say, I think even with the injury too, I think getting like some of these minus 250s on like Joe B, I think we're going to look back and say, holy shit, we got minus 250 on Joe B against fucking Baby Pettis. I think you're going to look at the Blades fight and look back and say, holy shit, we got minus 175 on Blades against fucking washed up Overeem. Yeah. And I think Vusa, you're going to get 240 on him and look back and say, holy shit, we got minus 240 on Ty against a washed up Andre Arlovsky. So those are some some of those round minus 200s that I think if you're any kind of parlay player, which, some people aren't, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those.
Yeah, I'll make sure Doc doesn't listen to this portion of the podcast. You might get a little sick to his stomach listening to this, but I'm with you. I think
just listen to the last 2.
Yeah, I think Benavidez, Blades, and Tui, you can almost do a round robin with those 3 and have a field day. So something to keep in mind there. Could be a good one. Well, that wraps up the 225 preview. We get a week off next week, and a Fight Pass card in Singapore. You got the tough finale on the 6th, which could be a good one with the style bender versus Tavares. And then UFC 226, July 7th with Miocic versus Cormier. God, I hope Stipe does it for us. I pray to God, Stipe, please do it. But
man, the line's getting out of control, so fuck.
Yeah, but we'll definitely.
You know how I feel.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about DC, but man, that line's getting a little crazy, dude.
That's what I'm worried about, because we all feel about the same about DC, but it comes back to the lines like we've been talking about all night tonight. So we'll see how it goes. But we'll be back to do that. Wesley, everybody check them out on Twitter at TrueUKFan, and go check out their podcast. We'll promote it on the BSD handle, the MMA analysis. Always great stuff those guys are pumping out over there. So go check all that out. Wes, appreciate it, my brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. Sure.
Sweet. This was the UFC 225 pay-per-view podcast. We'll catch you guys next time.